Welcome everyone. My name is Gergő and I am the ICS engineer at Blackcell. My responsibilities include protecting and analyzing the ICS OT infrastructure as well as implementing security tools on the network and giving informational presentations as this one. On this occasion, I warmly welcome everyone to the Blackcell ICS OT webinar about Nozomi Guardian security solutions. The Blackcell team is an expert staff in innovative IT security technologies. We are committed to protecting information values. The mission of this team is to help its customers create IT security in the long run and to raise awareness of its importance as widely as possible. It is also a cornerstone of our customer-centric thinking to be at the disposal of our customers, whether it is information, technical assistance, or advice. I have gained experience in both IT and OT and would like to share this with you today, where the Nozomi Guardian comes in and see how shows us a holistic picture of our infrastructures and all the devices and vulnerabilities connected to our network. The IT and OT areas are now intertwined from a supervisory standpoint. As IT system is usually hacked first to access OT tools/devices, Nozomi have solved it for us that both IT and OT professionals can use it to detect threats. As you can see, Nozomi is present at 8 of top 20 oil and gas companies, 5 of top 10 pharma companies, 4 of top 10 mining companies, and 4 of top 10 utility companies. As you can see, the side chart of the different industrial fields, and since critical infrastructures and manufacturing and industrial environments are based on automation and process control tools, PLC and SCADA systems have now moved out of their formed closed environment. Local and closed data connections have been replaced by LAN, TCP, and IP connections, and automation and process control systems have been integrated with traditional IT networks and the internet. Although the change has made the operation of controls and automation processes more cost effective, it has significantly increased exposure to the industrial equipment. Today, cyber threats also affect industrial solutions, with SCADA and PLC systems becoming a priority. So it is vital that organizations extend protection to industrial control systems as well. The Nozomi Guardian security tool is specifically designed to protect SCADA and PLC systems. The Guardian meets the critical infrastructure requirements of the NIST cybersecurity framework, providing outstanding protection for ICS, IoT, OT, IT devices by interpreting industry protocols and examining traffic. One of the biggest problems with industrial networks is that industrial devices are most invisible to IT monitoring. PLC controllers and SCADA controllers no longer operate in closed environments, receiving and sending data to various servers and data processors, such as ERP systems, production controllers, databases. Nozomi Guardian maps and visualizes network connections and communications for ICS devices as recommended by the NIST cybersecurity framework. It identifies industrial devices, in addition to continuous monitoring, provides an accurate picture of the status of ICS devices, their network distribution with each other and with other devices. The Nozomi Guardian device itself using passive monitoring and data gathering. But as an additional part of it can be used with smart polling. This would use as an active device discovery for full visibility and threat protection. So it's a combination of passive and active device discovery, which provides a low volume active query for Guardian passive device discovery, identifies non-communicating analog devices, detects USB devices on Windows machines, discovers operating systems data, firmware, MAC, vendor, and much more metadata. Continuous monitoring and threat detection provides accurate vulnerability assessment for a quick and effective response, integrates with threat intel for more efficient zero-day threat protection. Threat intelligence is another addition and a subscription for the Guardian device. And this is about OT and IoT threat and vulnerability. With this, it helps us stay on top of the dynamic threat landscape. It detects quickly the threats and identifies vulnerabilities, which significantly strengthens security. Its quick response with accurate information helps us to analyze events and simplify organizational processes. It provides ongoing OT and IoT threat and vulnerability insights to quickly detect, mitigate, and reduce risk. Nozomi Networks threat intelligence constantly updates the Guardian device with data and analysis so you can detect and respond more quickly for these threats. Guardian combines intelligence information with border environmental behavior to provide maximum security and operational insight. And now let's talk about a bit of asset intelligence. It provides continuous device profiles to detect accurate anomalies in mixed environments. It results in focused operational alarms that speeds up event response and increase productivity. Nozomi Network Asset Intelligence constantly updates the Guardian devices with rich OT and IoT device information and behavioral data so we can identify and respond to key security alerts faster. It allows Guardian devices to accurately classify devices to speed up the learning process in OT and IoT environments and provides detailed alerts that identify significant security and operational failures. Guardian's detection of IoT anomalies uses millions of OT and IoT device profiles to identify devices and alert anomalies at the enterprise level. By default, Guardian supports more than 100 industrial equipment manufacturers, including ABB, Allen Bradley, Rockwell, Bristol Babcock, Beckhoff, Emerson, General Electric, Honeywell, IBM, Mitsubishi, Motorola, etc. The Nozomi SDK environment also provides for vendors or protocols that are not supported by default, it is possible to program the interface and will be supported. In addition to ICS protocols, examples like BACnet, Modbus, RTU, TCP, MQTT, S7, S7 Plus, Unity, etc., the system provides extensive protocol interpretation support for key IT type communications such as SQL, HTTP, HTTPS, DHCP, ICMP, RDP, SSH, etc. It can recognize and manage more than 50 application protocols, enabling full visualization and protocol interpretation. The Guardian goes through a learning process after commissioning. It processes and analyzes communications using artificial intelligence. You will learn what ICS devices communicate, what codes they control, with whom they communicate, and how they operate. The learning process can be automatic or manual, meaning that operators can mark operational processes, thus speeding up and supporting the learning processes. Since the Guardian interprets ICS protocols and communications and records operational processes, it is also able to respond to changes in programming codes and devices, detects changes and deviations, can send alerts about unusual variables and codes. The mixture and the combination of threat intelligence and asset intelligence within the Guardian device will get us the vulnerability detection feature. Another major security issue with industrial systems is that controls operate often vulnerable, obsolete hosts. In most cases, manufacturers do not provide much help with upgrades, and in most cases, the organization is not aware of exactly what vulnerabilities SCADA/PLC devices have. Guardian supports risk assessment processes and is able to simplify the detection of vulnerable systems with reports and queries. It is possible to use a low-resource query to collect host and firmware statuses and software environments from ICS devices, which are compared to the NVD vulnerability list and display device vulnerabilities. There are multiple instances for the device or the appliances from the Nozomi Guardian. In this picture, we can see the appliance for large enterprise. The max protected nodes for this is 500,000 and the least one is 100,000. So this one is for really big companies and where the hosts and nodes are above 100,000 device. This is for mid enterprises. As you can see, the maximum for here is 40,000 and the least is 1,000. The throughput is usually 1 gig and the least one is 250, but we can suit it for you if you will tell us what is the company requirement or how many nodes and hosts you have. We can give you a list of the device we recommend to be used. These are for the ruggedized and portable scenarios where if you just want to see what vulnerabilities you have on your network, you can use these ones and just go through section by section, part by part on your network, and you can check it for yourself if you have vulnerabilities present. For remote locations, these are data collectors. These will have a direct connection or cloud connection to the Nozomi Guardian appliance, and it can send data from remote sites to the main device. And still, this has a virtual environment as well if you don't like to use an on-prem basis. So we can share more information and details about how you can implement virtual environments with Nozomi Guardian. More in the live demo, and we will see each other in the next few seconds. And welcome everyone again. This is the Nozomi Guardian live demonstration. The first, after we log in into the device itself, we will see the dashboard. The dashboard will collect us information which will help us determine which part of the network we should investigate first. This is not a live session, what you can see in the Nozomi Guardian. This is a recorded PCAP playback. So excuse me, but I won't be able to show you how it behaves on a live environment because due to the pandemic, our sources are currently restricted and I can only use this one for the live demonstration. So in the dashboard field, we can see how much assets, nodes, links, protocols, and sessions and variables we have at the moment. As you can see, my asset overview shows that I have 3 computers, 22 unknown web servers and other devices, and 135 OT devices connected to this one. In the first part in the appliances field, if I would have more of the Guardian device itself or more remote collectors, these would pop up here. And I could see the list of details in the right side, which would help me determine where I should put more attention. In the alerts field, as you can see, this is the part where the alerts would pop up for you based on the detections in your environment or network. In the environment field, we can see how much assets we have. So this is where asset intelligence first comes in. It can show us a list of the devices and the IP addresses, what type of devices we have, what is the firmware and the operating system, what's the MAC address, and etc. In the network view, we can see all the network connections and devices. We can check it node by node, link by link, session by session, and we can see a graph of our full environment, which was detected by the Guardian itself. As you can see, I have 2 different PLC areas here. I have more PLC devices here, And this is my current home environment. In the traffic field, we can see um, a bit of a visualized information of what kind of throughput types we are using, what the protocols in our throughput, what's the protocols by data size, and what's the protocols by packets count. And I can see the TCP connections of my home router at the moment. In the process view field under environments tab, we can see all our OT PLC devices and its processes. We can see protocol connections and we can see settings. In protocol connections, we are not able to see anything since it's not a live session, so there are no active communication ongoing between the PLCs and OT devices. I'm sorry for that again. The Guardian has a built-in report generator, and it differentiates four different types of reporting: alerts, asset inventory, CIS controls, and vulnerabilities. All of these report types can be used for, I don't know, for example, network administrators or security administrators to have a better holistic view on the network and its alerts and vulnerabilities, for example. And we have got to one of the most important part of the Nozomi Guardian, which is the vulnerabilities section. As you can see at the moment, I have like a ton of high-risk CVEs in most of the devices. So as you can see, for example, I have a Windows Server 2003 R2 SP2 on my network under this IP address. So I click on it and I want to check what is the vulnerability with this device. It will give us a very good overview of the situation we have. It shows the protocols it is using at the moment. It shows the learning status that the node is fully learned, and that is showing us that it has vulnerabilities present. It doesn't have any alerts at the moment since it's not a live network, but it shows me 59 patch missing from, for example, from the Windows Server mainframe. And this is the part where it shows us the CVE detected on the node and the CVE name, and it even gives us some information of what is happening. So for example, I can see that it out of bounds write has presented itself. Let's check the CVE, and it says it's a CVE from 2004, CVE name out of bounds write. And the summary that the Network News Transfer Protocol NNTP components of Microsoft Windows NT Server 4.0, etc., allows remote attackers to execute arbitrary code via XPath patterns. So this is the vulnerability itself, and the device will show us references, how we can get a hold of this issue, how we can get ahead of it, how we can patch it, and how we can get rid of it. And this is just one type. As you can see, there are multiple devices shown here. Here is another Windows XP device with a lot of high and medium vulnerabilities. And this is a list. So as you can see, there are CVEs which is repeatedly appearing here. It can be because of the vulnerable process was ongoing multiple times, and every time the device detects it, it will create an alert or a new vulnerability record for it. Okay, so that was only the main features, and I haven't talked about the fine tuning of the device. As you can see, this is the security control panel, which can be reached in the top right corner from Administration, Settings, Security Control Panel. This is just an overview, what we can see here, because we can go into the menus individually. For example, Learning. We can decide what will be the approach of detection. I'm mostly advising adaptive learning, but this will require the Asset Intelligence subscription to be activated for it. The tooth is protecting or learning. In two-phase learning, the environment incorporates new behavior as learned. So if a new device is connected to the network or any other change happens, the device won't do anything automatically. I mean, about mitigation, it will only create an alert for it. And we need to decide what will happen with this type of alerts. If it's a repeating one, we can let it know that this will repeat itself because due to this type of communication in our network, and it won't create a new alert for the same type. In protecting mode, after the protection, so after learning every node and learning the behavior of the network, if you choose protecting, it will make everything to behave as we want to. Because if something wants to behave otherly than how it is used to it, then it will protect and block that type of process in the background or in the network. So it will hinder the attacker to reaching our PLC or OT environment. The second menu is the security profile. As you can see, mine is set to paranoid levels just to see and show you how it will look like, and it has the 3 pages of the entries of what is going to change in what type of security profile. The device comes out of the box with high security profile as a default setting, but this can be modified very easily for your company needs. Then we can go to the zone configuration. If you have some more experts or network professionals in your company, this will be very handful for them because they can separate the zones and can pay attention individually for it. Let me go back to the security controls panel. Give it a few seconds. Okay, and then it comes to the alert tuning part. This is the place where we can use the source IP, source MAC addresses, and we can set what will happen for the event the next time it appears on our network. And the manage learning part. So again, it's the same as in the environment's network view with the graph, but this is how it's managed to learn it. So for example, if there would be a new device which, for example, appeared here, it won't be in a gray color, it will be red. And if you click on a red device, we can check in the right side that the node is it's currently red, but in my case it's green. But if you just tick it and tell it to learn it, then save, then it saves the node and learns it and will put it into the network for us. If we don't have much of space on our disk inside the Nozomi Guardian or in the virtual appliance we are using, the alerts, capture logs, and health logs retention level can be set. It's up to us where we want to set it, and the logs won't be gathering more than we provided it for the device. The most important part from the features control panel is the link events collecting. Enables historical data persistence up to chosen value. This is highly recommended to be set into collecting and not to set to disabled. Okay, and if you go further, this is the users part. This is the self-evident part where we can source a new local Active Directory or SAML source for our database to be put into the device. We can just simply create a new user using a username, a password, and which group we want to put it, a guest or an administrator. We can select if they must update password from our generic one. We can suspend the profile and we can make it expired as well. The same applies for groups. We can create a group here and we can even import from Active Directory. This is the Active Directory connection panel where we can integrate the Active Directory with the Nozomi Guardian. And the same goes for SAML. As I said, the dashboard is configurable totally. So if you don't like this, or we just want to move them around, this is the part where we can do that. And we just select the overview one. And for example, I don't need the assertions part, but I can add a new widget. For example, I want to see alerts. Or for example, I want to see, let's see, latest alerts. And it will show us always the latest alert coming in. Okay, so threat intelligence subscription, we can select the packet rules we want it to have. So if we, for example, we don't use Schneider Electric Modicon DOS, you can just simply turn it off and it won't check it, and it will free up more resource to check the most vulnerable or important parts of the network. You can see that there are Yara rules by default inside the device. This can be added with your own Yara rule sets if required. You can use sticks indicators as well. And if you have a CVEs for threat intelligence, that this would appear here. Let's see, data model. You can use the data model here. It will just create a string list. Let's see, let's give it a name as test. If you want to integrate data, for example, if you have a SEIM system, we can simply integrate them with FireEye, Tab Cloud Collector, IBM QRadar, Common Event Format, ServiceNow, Splunk, for example, and many more. But as I have said previously, we can put more supported companies and devices and etc. what you want here, because this is fully customizable. We can integrate Nozomi device with firewalls as well. So if you have like a Fortinet, Checkpoint Gateway, Palo Alto, or Cisco firewalls, then this is simply very easy integration. If you cannot see the device you are using in your environment, let us know and we can integrate that one as well. CMC connection is the part for the central management console connections. If you are having more Nozomi Guardian devices in the same network or the same area or the same company, you can synchronize them into a unified site. So for example, you have 5 Nozomi Guardians and you only have one network administrator. You don't want them to check individually. You can use the CMC to see all the 5 device most important alerts and updates and everything that the network administrator needs to see. And CMC is the best part of it because that will make this much more easier. And we got to the general parts of the system settings. You can set the host name and the login banner. You can use a date and time, and you can even use an NTP if required. The updates and licenses part is where you have, so with the base license is you need definitely, because without that the Guardian won't even start network monitoring. And the threat intelligence and asset intelligence is a subscription that is optional, which is an option to choose, and I have told you in the beginning of this video. You can see the current throughput of the network which I'm using right now. If you don't want to use the device inactively or passively, but you want to use it offline, then that is a solution and method as well, that you can use PCAPs. For example, you have gathered information from Wireshark and you just want to see what would the Nozomi Guardian will say about these type of connections and traffic communication. You just upload the PCAP here and then just click on the play button and it will fill in the details, and you can see in the dashboard and every other part from the PCAP what it have determined. You can import CSV files, for example, vulnerability CVEs. You can import project files for PLCs. In the health section, it's the health of the Guardian device itself. You can see the CPU percentage, the disk percentage, the RAM, etc. And even we can jump into the health logs to see a much more detailed version of it. In the audit part, you can see every configuration change. You can see every click inside between the features. It, it audits everything happening. So the network administrator can easily filter out non so they can easily filter out non-restricted accesses, or I mean restricted accesses. So this was a taste of the Nozomi Guardian network appliance. We can show you in much more details and in depth, but this was just a live demonstration to get to feel better of it. So if you are interested, please let us know in the comment section. If you have any questions or highlights about this, please let us know, and we wish you a very great day ahead. Thank you for watching and have a great day.